It's a state requirement!
Kevin Spencer.
You better not cross his path.
Kevin Spencer.
Chain-smoking alcoholic, sociopath.
The courts allowed Kevin back into school on a trial basis, provided he attended weekly meetings with a guidance counselor. The counselor's name was Mr. Perry. He asked Kevin what he wanted to do with his life. Kevin told him he wanted to grow up and be a guidance counselor, so he could spend all day sitting on his fat ass acting like a moron. Mr. Perry said Kevin needed a serious attitude adjustment, or he was going to end up living on welfare like a loser. Kevin was angry at Mr. Perry for calling his dad a loser. He was itching to crank him one, but Kevin didn't want to go back to juvenile hall because the day before he'd left, he'd ripped off $20 in a carton of smokes from some big kid named Matt Brower. Kevin figured he'd bide his time before he straightened things out. Kevin figured that was about long enough and busted him a good one right in the mouth. That night in juvenile hall, Kevin was kicking back in his cell reading a True Detective magazine and smoking a cigarette when Matt Brower came in. Matt dropped Kevin with a right hook to the stomach and took back his things, plus an extra $10. While Kevin lay on the floor, he decided that when he got out, he was going to give Mr. Perry one holy ass whooping. Years later, the psychiatrist that worked at the maximum security prison where Kevin was serving his life sentence said that it was an asinine leap in logic and that even at that early age, Kevin was obviously sociopathically insane.